I'm just as excited as they are.
I mean, Supplier Sync Custom Pricing. I feel like that is, whew.
It is exciting. We talked about this briefly
Hmm.
during a previous one of these. Where did that price come from? But I think the custom pricing associated with Supplier Sync is important enough to have its own moment.
Yeah.
If you agree, we shall we shall proceed.
I'll let this roll. Let's do it.
You'll allow it.
I'll allow it.
So settings, suppliers, supplier sync. And these are where you set up all your supplier, or this is where you set up all your suppliers. You put your labels, etc. But a little further down
Hmm.
is this thing called custom pricing. So it's under the pricing section, under custom pricing, and it's these two areas we're concerned with. So the idea is for items that are showing up on the website simply because of supplier sync. In other words, you don't have them in stock in the store. They're not in your, it's not behaving. It looks okay, right? The screen?
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. There's display that you don't have them in your items. You haven't put it in your products. It's not in stock in the store. It's just showing up because of supplier sync. And so you're seeing this at warehouse idea, and it's got to be all the variations of it. If you have any variation of it in your point of sale data, then it'll pull the whole item in.
Yeah.
So just because of supplier sync, then it's using typically the price we put in it when we built the item in the library or a price being supplied to us by the supplier. But
Hmm.
let's say you want to change that price. That is what this section's for, this custom pricing. And there's two ways you can do it. You can manually do that by going into this section we're about to go into, or you can do it by putting that thing in your POS system and setting the price the way you want it, and then enabling the second stage of custom pricing. And then it will observe that whether you have the item in stock or not. But for now, let's start with
Hmm.
the custom price section. And I'll warn everybody, this section takes a bit of
Okay.
time to load because it's doing an awful lot in the background. So it takes a second or two
I
extra.
have a question in the meantime.
Absolutely.
So that will it still, so say you're getting that price from your supplier and you add a custom price. Will
Mhm.
it show if your custom price is lower, will it show that it's on sale?
Yep. Well, it
Okay.
depends. I'll show you how you could set a sale price. But if you just change the regular price, then it just changes the price. No,
Okay.
no sale mentioned. If you set a custom price, it'll do that, and we'll show that. That's a good question. We get asked that one a lot.
Okay.
The other question, kind of related to that, is if you set a custom price and then get that item in stock in the store, does it still observe this
Mm.
manually set custom price? And the answer is no. If it gets a POS price, that POS price will win over these manually set custom prices.
Okay.
So this interface looks familiar. It's the same thing we see over in inventory and products, with some exceptions. Not as detailed, but it has got some handy things. Let's say you want to focus on prices for a specific supplier. You can set that in here based on what you have enabled. It is very handy because these custom prices are quite sticky. Once they get set, until somebody goes in there and deletes it or changes it, they will stay set. It's one of
Mm.
the primary causes of where'd that price come from. So you can use this little items marked as yes, custom price, and then hit display and see everything that's got a custom price right away, which is kind of handy. There's also a way to delete them all in bulk. So there's a few little filters here that are quite handy to use. And you can do brands and all. What I did was, and this is a handy little thing, and I'm going to change the display so I can show you. This is a handy thing that works in a lot of places. This number in the URL, it's usually
Hmm.
these days is the 6-digit number. That's from a product from our library. We call that a library ID. But the handy part of that is you can use that to search. And so from here, I can just say, put that 6-digit ID in there and hit display, and it'll go find that item particularly. Now, I could have searched by brand for um, Santa Cruz, which is what this bike is. I could have narrowed down the suppliers to Santa Cruz. I could have searched the keyword stigmata because that's
Hmm.
the thing we're going to look at. But I used that library ID and found it real quickly. So what we have here is there's nothing in custom price, nothing in sale prices. So the first question of how do we set custom prices, we can just do that here. And I don't have to put the commas and the periods and the zeros. It'll do that for me when I get out there. Your question though, Susie, is if I want to set a sale price, then I could do that. So let's say that I
Mm.
want this to be $200 off, so that's $74.99.
Good
Sale
math.
prices display if the price is lower than the price already there, and there's at least a start an end date, or you've checked the closeout flag. So if I don't put a start date in there, it's not going to observe that price. But if I put a start date in there like today, then it will.
But you don't have to do an end date.
You used to have to. I don't know when that changed or if I just remember something wrong, but this used to be the only place you had to put a start and an end date, but now you can just have a start date and it'll just run forever. Now, if you don't do either of those and you check this closeout box, it just does it. So closeout box in lieu of start and end date works perfectly well. But for the purposes of this, let's just say for a variety of reasons these days, I may need to add a few $100s to the price of this item, and we'll call that $82.99. And oh, darn it, I hit reset instead of submit changes.
That can happen. We're learning together.
Or maybe I didn't actually hit it correctly. Yep, I did. It reset. $82.99, and then submit changes. And there's that's done, so it'll take it a second to do its thing. And when it has done its thing, we'll go to the other page. We'll go now and see. So $76.99 was the price. $82.99 is now the price.
Speedy.
So all the consumer knows is this is the price of the bike. You've got control of that, even though you don't have it in stock in your point of sale system. And that's kind of it. So that's how you do that.
Cool. Can I ask another question that is not, it's related, but not exactly on this topic?
Sure.
So if you're doing the whole, where did this price come from? How do you figure out if it's a custom price?
So let's say this is the item in question. So customer says, hey man, that's a high price for that bike. And you go, I don't know where that price came from. And you've checked your POS system. It's not in your POS system. It just seems wrong. So you come to custom price and you search for that item. When you get here, and you might search for it the way I did, because somebody gives you that specific example, or you might just come in here and say, show me everything that's got a custom price on it. And then that way you can see everything. If you get here and there's something in this block, then that's where that's coming from.
Okay.
If you get here and it's blank, then it's not this thing at all. So it's pretty straightforward. There's no mystery to it. If there's a price there, that could be the price. And if there's not a price there, this isn't the answer.
Gotcha.
So that's how you set those manually. What if you want to set those without it being manual, where you want to just have it pull from your POS data? So in this Santa Cruz example, you're a Santa Cruz dealer, you got lots of Santa Cruz, but you just don't ever stock the Stigmata because unlike me, you're not kind of wrapped up and captivated by the bike. I like this bike.
I like this bike.
So, but you want it in there. And so you put the Stigmata in your POS inventory. You have no balance on hand, nothing on order. You're not going to stock it. You just have it in the POS system and you set whatever price you want. And you want that to be observed without having to manually go set the price. That's when you check this box. So just manual custom, you check that box. But if you want to include the POS integration, you check the second box. And then what this will do is it will set custom prices based on what it sees in the POS system, even if you don't have those bikes on stock, so you have no quantity on hand. And that's how you can control pricing from your POS system without having to come use these manual prices, but also affect products showing up on the website because of Supplier Sync.
Cool.
And that's in keeping with the idea of POS Sync in the first place is we connect to those POS systems, multitudes of them, and we use that pricing so that you as a bike shop can control your pricing in one spot and not have to worry about it in two places. So that's a handy thing here.
Nice.
I think that covers it.
I think so. I don't have any other questions to drag this out. So.
Well, those are good questions. We can talk about the Stigmata. I just think that's a great name for a bike.
I love it, but I really am dead set on one day owning a Juliana. I've never had a Juliana. And the kind of the gravelly Juliana is the Quincy, and Quincy is one of my middle names. And so I just feel like I'm destined to ride that bike.
Yes, you must. I wish I'd have known that. I would have used the Quincy for the example. I just have always been hung up. The only reason I don't own a Stigmata is they changed the geometry last year, year before last, and it's getting way close to a mountain bike, and I'm more of a roadie, so. But still fascinated. Okay, so custom prices for Supplier Sync items, there's ways to control that. If you're not liking what you see, either you've got some pricing power and you need to up the price, or you need to show those things at a slight discount for whatever reason, this is how you can do that. If you need help, as always, reach out to Client Success. you can email them, chat with them, or call them, or let me or Susie know, and we will happily pass that
We would
question
love it.
along.
Yes.
All right.
We'll see ya.